Well, Gary. You've seen it for yourself. The Triple B showed knowledge. He showed accuracy. He predicted Conor Benn on points. And what happened? Conor Benn won on points. Right? I hope the people followed my channel and got a 4-1 bet on Conor Benn points. Now, the fight itself was a domination by Conor Benn. I wouldn't even give Eubank a single round. And Carl Frampton agreed with me. He agreed with me. And then Conor Benn dropped Chris Eubank Jr. Twice in the final round. And I was like, no. I was desperately begging for the ref to be corrupt like a usual UK ref and give Eubank too much time and not stop the fight. Thankfully, he didn't. So I collected some money. Not a lot of money, but, cash money, especially when you're rinsing the bookies, is sweet. The reason I went for Conor Benn, I thought the weight difference, Conor Benn had put on 3 pounds compared to the first fight. Chris Eubank Jr. was 1 pound less, which is odd. And I thought Benn will win it on work rate. He will win it on fitness. He will win it on freshness. And I was right. I don't like to brag. I hate to brag. Bragging is a game for bums and egotists. So I'm not bragging, but, I was right. Yeah. Not only was I right, I was right by a long way. I think one judge had it 116 to 110 or something. Or 116, 112. I'm like, what, you tripping? You tripping? Even without... that means that if Conor Benn didn't win the last round with 2 knockdowns, which means 7-10, he could have had it a draw. How bent are you? How bent are you? If my maths is wrong, then I apologize. But it's ridiculous. This was a 120 fight. Every round was won. Every round was won by Conor Benn. And he dropped Eubank twice in the final round because he was tired. Eubank looked out of sorts. His legs were weak. He was getting thrown around, out-strengthed by Conor Benn. Out-strengthed by Conor Benn. Out-jabbed by Conor Benn. A shorter guy. His timing was all over the place. It was terrible. He was not at the races, Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank was not at the races. He looked drained. I said from the beginning, I go, his body looks drained. He looks in good shape, but he looks like someone who has, when you get them bodybuilders, right? And they starve themselves and take away all their fluid and lose fat so they look more muscular. That's what Chris Eubank looked like. He looked like someone who had been starved. And both, by the way, the rehydration clause, they didn't really make a big story of it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because both had to be subject to the same rehydration clause. And Conor Benn, put on weight. He put on weight. And he was strong. He was fit. Chris Eubank Jr. was missing punches. He looked uncomfortable. Yeah? He got slightly marked up. He was always looking. If you notice, right, and you see this in my life, he was always looking at the timer. He was always looking at the timer. How long is there left in the round? And sometimes it'd be like 2 minutes, and he's already looking at the time. He looked ill. He looked dehydrated. But that's his fault. So he signed up to it. I don't feel sorry for him. Yeah. I think, as I said, I think Conor Benn weighed in the same as him, and they're both subject to the same rehydration clause. So I'm not crying for Chris Eubank Jr. Conor Benn was fitter. He was cleverer. He out-jabbed Eubank, a taller guy. Eubank was missing, which takes away a lot of energy. His confidence was not there. Yeah, 50 Cent. Chief Fitty, walked him into the ring. And you could see by round 4, they showed the camera or something on 50 Cent, and he was like, yeah, I backed the wrong horse. You know what I'm saying? He was like, shit, this guy ain't a PIMP. And Chris Eubank Jr. walked in wearing a massive coat, a massive fake mink coat like a pimp. And Conor Benn walked in with some fruity drummers, but it didn't make no difference. You don't win fights by a walk-in. You don't win fights because 50 Cent is backing you. You win fights by being fit, by being in good shape, by landing more punches. And Conor Benn did so. And I predicted it at 4-1. I said, good on Conor Benn points. That will be the result. And a lot of people go, oh, he didn't want to talk about Chris Eubank. We'll knock him out this time. I was like, okay, whatever, man. Whatever. I put my money where my mouth is. I won like 90 quid. It's not a lot of money. But when you're not rich, 90 quid is sweet. And it tastes good to take money from the bookies. Now, don't get me wrong. In round 12, I was sitting there going, no, please don't, please. You know, you're always worried with British refs that they will do a British stoppage and suddenly they will stop the fight too early. And Eubank was all over the place. And the punch that dropped him wasn't even that good. He was just exhausted. Throughout the entire fight, his legs looked weak. They didn't have bounce in them. He was flat-footed. He was missing, which tires you out and affects you psychologically. Whereas Conor Benn was supremely confident. And he's done the business. And he's done the business in style. The only horror of this fight is this. At the end, they're all pals and all that, you know. And then they asked Chris Eubank. Conor Benn said, right, this is finished. This is finished now, which it should be. You know, he's talking about a guy who's probably a natural welterweight who went up to middleweight against a guy who's natural super middleweight. He dropped to middleweight. But, you know, and then Chris Eubank says afterwards, Chris Eubank Jr. goes, well, it's 1-1, so maybe we can have a trilogy. That sickens me, man. No one's interested in that. No one's interested in that. No one was really interested in the second fight, except that it turned out to be an alleged huge upset. Not to me. And if you listened to me, you would have made money. 4 times as much money as you bet. So let's hope you did that. Anyway, the future, Chris Eubank Jr. will be desperate for a trilogy because that's his last payday. He's 36. He's a bum. You know, he's gone as far as he can. Conor Benn is younger by, I think, 8 years or around that. He can maybe go down to light middle, challenge for a title. I think he gets smoked by Virgil Ortiz Jr. I think he gets smoked by Boots Ennis. But there's other fights there. It's all about, especially in modern era, when there's 4 world titles minimum per weight. It's all about who you fight. He could even fight for a middleweight title. Could he get down to welterweight? I don't know. That's a push. But with modern supplements, modern nutrition, maybe he could. He looked very strong at the weight. He was throwing Eubank all over the shop. all over the place. So I think he's probably pretty comfortable at middleweight. And the only thing that counts is whether they can find him a world title fight for a lot of money. And not only that, against the weakest champion possible. The weakest champion possible. And he'll make millions. And he will sit there with a stupid look on his face, with stupid tattoos all over his face. But he'll be a winner, and he'll make money. And Nigel Benn was buzzing, his dad. And Chris Eubank Sr., that wrong'un, who killed a builder with his truck and was never convicted, sat there with a stupid look on his face. 50 Cent, who walked Chris Eubank Jr. in the ring, was sitting there, even from early rounds, thinking, yeah, I backed the wrong horse. Anyway, I hope you got on the win, 4-1. I told you to do it. If you don't listen, well, your ears are clogged up. You should listen. I made a lot of money for me fans. Yeah. And hopefully we just don't see a trilogy because we're sick of this. Hopefully we see Eubank retire and Conor Benn go on to probably a world title challenge. At what weight? Who against? That's a different question. But I assume they will go for a weak champion. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the night. Peace in the Middle East.